Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Rachel, and I'm a registered nurse, a digital creator, and a mom. And today, I'm talking about one of the biggest health threats in 2025, and it's probably sitting in your fridge, in your kitchen, in your pantry, in your car, in your kid's lunchbox, you guys. I'm talking about ultra-processed foods and sugar, how these foods are destroying your body while the food industry profits, and what we need to do about this, you guys. Like, this is serious. This is what we should all be super up in arms about right now. So stay with me, you guys, because once you understand what's really happening, or once I remind you of what you already know, you'll never look at your grocery cart the same way again. You'll never look at that Pepsi or that diet soda the same way again. You will think twice or 3 times before you take a bite of that garbage protein bar. And you'll be like, maybe I should just scramble 2 eggs. Like, come on, I'm at home. Why am I eating a protein bar? Let's start with the lie. So, the modern food system we have today, it was designed to make our lives easier, right? When McDonald's first came on the scene, that was like this revolutionary thing. Foods had longer shelf lives. This was revolutionary. And things had better taste. Well, what's wrong with that, right? Well, there's a dark side. Ultra-processed foods are not just convenient. It's like they're literally chemically engineered to trick your brain, destroy your gut, spike your blood sugar, and leave you wanting more and more and more and being addicted and never being able to, cut yourself off. And sugar, oh my God, we all know sugar is everywhere. It's in barbecue sauce, ketchup, kids' cereals, even health bars. Like I said, protein bars. Like, it's not healthy. Excess sugar has been linked from everything from chronic inflammation to liver disease. And what really gets me is these sugar-free products. No, they're still sugar. They just have different names for sugar. There's a million names for sugar. If you want to use sweeteners, there's some really good alternatives. You shouldn't overdo it, but there's really good alternatives. And it's so sad to me because people are buying products like granola bars, fruit snacks, these yogurts marketed to kids that are like bright pink and like it's literal garbage. The sugary cereals, it's like, oh my God. And people think, well, if it's sold in the grocery store, like, how can it be that bad? You just want your kid to have a fun snack in his lunch. Like, can it really be that bad? Because if it is that bad, then why is it legal? Why is it legal? We know these ultra-processed foods actually cause disease. The food industry knows this, but they continue to push these products, fully aware of the consequences. We have an obesity epidemic, and not just America. I feel like it's pretty global at this point. It's obviously the worst here, though. Let's talk about what ultra-processed foods and sugar actually do to your body. So let's start with the brain and your mood. So when you're eating these ultra-processed foods, they're going to flood your brain with dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical that makes you feel good. That leads to those addiction-like cravings because it actually makes you feel happy when you eat it. But it's engineered that way. That isn't because like, oh, you really like the flavor. It's because your brain is on drugs, sugar drug. And that causes these mood swings. It causes fatigue, brain fog. It's like, oh my gosh. So then blood sugar. When you're eating these ultra-processed foods, refined carbs, added sugars, your blood glucose levels are spiking. That is forcing your body to pump out more insulin to compensate for this, to manage this. And over time, that overcompensation leads to insulin resistance, leading to weight gain, leading to type 2 diabetes, and you can see the domino effect. Chronic inflammation. So additives, preservatives, artificial ingredients, this actually triggers low-grade inflammation. So your body is like in crisis mode 24/7. Inflammation is the root of nearly all chronic disease, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disorders. It wreaks havoc on your body. So why does sugar cause inflammation, and what is so damaging about inflammation anyways, right? Like, what does it even mean? How does it work? I don't get it. I'll tell you, will be a really short and sweet lesson. Immune system activation. When we consume a lot of sugar, it'll trigger an immune response. This causes the release of these little guys called cytokines. These are inflammatory molecules. These little cytokines, they act as messengers, and then they're going to signal your immune cells to respond to this perceived threat. And that can lead to this chronic inflammation because your body's on this high alert, right? So this is really relevant if you've got something like rheumatoid arthritis, where these pro-inflammatory cytokines, they're already elevated, and then you're going to add more on top of that. The next thing is disruption of gut microbiome. So high sugar diets, they actually disrupt this very delicate balance of bacteria in your gut. And this leads to this state called dysbiosis. And this can increase the production of inflammatory factors and actually alter your gut's barrier. It's called an epithelial barrier. It can alter that. And what it does is it allows these inflammatory particles to go where they're not supposed to go, into your blood. This systemic inflammation is linked to various health problems like autoimmune diseases. So there's this other thing, and I actually didn't even know about this before I researched this video, which is so crazy because I'm still learning new things. I'm a nurse, I've been in practice, but I have never heard of AGEs. So excess sugar in the blood can bind to proteins and fats, forming a harmful compound called an AGE, or advanced glycation end products. What is that? Well, those contribute to inflammation and can damage tissues and cells throughout the body. Who knew? Insulin resistance. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. High sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance, right? Because your body's working overtime to try to get rid of that sugar. So the cells then become less responsive to insulin, and it causes your blood sugar and your insulin levels to rise. This then leads to increased fat storage, particularly around the midsection, around the abdomen, which is also linked to inflammation. So then, I've mentioned it a few times, but increased risk of chronic disease. Chronic inflammation, which caused by excessive sugar consumption, is a risk factor for various diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. That's a lot. It's a heavy topic, you guys. It's heavy. We just had the 4th of July weekend, and I ate a hot dog with a white bun. I don't normally eat white buns, but I was craving it. It was 4th of July, It's like this social thing, right? So, in summary, excessive sugar intake can lead to a cascade of events that promote chronic inflammation, which increases the risk of various health problems. At the root, it's our food. It is our food. Gut health. Gut health is such a big one, you guys, and it's being talked about so much more, which is amazing. Ultra-processed foods destroy this microbiome. So they feed harmful bacteria, they feed them food, and then they starve your good bacteria. And that, in general, weakens your immune system, and it affects your mental health because your gut microbiome affects your mental health. Metabolic chaos. So your liver is overloaded by the fructose and added sugars, so especially high fructose corn syrup. It stores that excess sugar as fat, your liver, leading to something called fatty liver disease. I'm sure you've heard of it. Or how about high triglycerides when you get your cholesterol panel done? So, that's a lot. What is the industry's role? This is the part that really upsets me. This is the part that just really pisses me off, to be quite frank. It's because they know all of this. They know all of this. They created these foods to be addictive. The thing that really, though, like I already said, I'm really peeved, extra super peeved, is they're targeting children with the fun packaging. The Paw Patrol Yoplays, SpongeBob, whatever you know what I mean? You're gearing it towards kids. Of course, sugary cereals. I was obsessed with Golden Grams and what's the other one? Lucky Charms when I was a kid. My mom refused to buy them, but my grandparents did. These are not foods. They're products. They're manufactured fake products. They're manufactured in labs to taste good. They literally give you no nutritional value. None. The worst part, the more that we actually get sick from these foods, the more we rely on pharmaceuticals, right? It's this vicious cycle. And your primary provider is not going to talk to you about nutrition and lifestyle change because that's not what they specialize in. This is a food crisis. This is a healthcare crisis. We cannot depend on the system. We have to stop normalizing and tolerating, celebrating our lives with these refined and ultra-processed foods. It's so hard, especially, your kid goes to school and it's today at my son's school, it was ice cream day. And it's you know what I mean? It's and I don't want to deprive them having ice cream, but it's you know what I mean? It's you're between a rock and a hard place, You know that it's not good. So, what can we do about this? Choose real food. You know what I mean? Like, as often as possible, choose food that grew from a tree, grew from the earth, or came out of the ocean. If it didn't, it's probably not real food. So vegetables, fruits, beans, fish, meat, whole grains. You want to read your labels. This is like the biggest control that you have. Sugar has like 56 plus different names. And if any of those are in the top 3 on the ingredients list, just don't eat it. Don't eat it at all. Put it back. So look for ingredients ending in OSE or OS. So that's going to be dextrose, fructose, maltose, sucrose. Those are the big ones. And then there's other common sugar aliases like high fructose corn syrup, which I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't, they know to look for that one. But what about cane juice crystals? That sounds kind of fun. What about brown rice syrup? What about barley malt? I mean, those don't really sound like super bad for you, right? This is what they do that literally pisses me off. They will break down these sugar ingredients into different types so they each appear separately on the nutrition label. So it actually disguises the total sugar content. So products can actually contain like 3 to 4 different sugar varieties, but they appeared lower on the list because individually it's a smaller number. Isn't that crazy? Also, if you're a low-fat kind of person, you want to have low-fat yogurt, low-fat sour cream, stop. Because they took out the fat and it tasted like actual ass. So then they added sugar in to make it palatable. So, you know, with these alternative sugars like stevia, erythritol, monk fruit, honey, maple syrup, still try to have those in moderation. I have a sweet tooth. I absolutely love treats, and you can make a lot of really fun, tasty desserts with these alternative sugars. And I actually have a free PDF, so it's in the description below. Download that. It's gluten-free, refined sugar-free recipes. There's some savory items, but mostly sweet. But you can definitely still have your sweet treats. You just need to choose a healthier alternative. So, I mean, and I know it's not easy, and I'm not gonna sit here and say it is easy because it's not easy for me. But I think if we just if people like me that love sugar and love treats, and I'm a nurse and I have knowledge to give and I want to educate people and I want to educate myself. Like when I research these videos, I'm learning more and more every day. And we need to keep putting out content like this. Cook more at home. So it doesn't have to be super fancy. Like literally pick a protein, pick a healthy carb like sweet potatoes or even a baked potato. And then vegetables. Round it out with some veggies. And when you break this initial addiction with these ultra processed foods and refined sugars, it's gonna suck. Like you're not gonna want to do it. It's not gonna be fun because these foods are fun. That's how they're marketed, right? Like we're having a good time eating fast food, or like it's not even fast food. That's the worst. Like we know that if you go to McDonald's, like you know what that is, right? But when you go buy like a protein bar and think it's supposed to be good, or you buy your kid an applesauce and you didn't read the label and it says it has like high fructose corn syrup in it, and you're like, but apple's already sweet. Like, why did they add high fructose corn syrup? I didn't even think to check. Yes, you have to check the nutrition labels absolutely every single time. I still get hung up on this. I go to buy a creamer brand that I know is like sugar-free, like literally no sugars, like none, like no stevia, nothing. It's just plain. And it's called nut pods. So they have a couple of really good flavors that have no sweeteners. So you can add your own. So I like adding stevia. So one day I went to the store and I saw one and I was like, oh, that's new. That looks good. And it was like cookie butter or something. And I'm like, cool. Maybe they, I just thought cookie butter. They probably added like some vanilla extract or something. So I just bought it. And this is nut pods. Like I've been drinking nut pods for a while. Like they don't have sugar in them. You add your own sugar. So made a pot of coffee in the morning, poured my coffee, I added my stevia, and then I added the creamer. I had one sip and I almost spit it out everywhere. It was so sweet. And then I look on the back, cane sugar. So they developed a line of creamers that now have cane sugar, but it didn't say on the front, or at least I don't think it did. But you know what I mean? It's like that brand I trusted as being sugar, like no sugars added. You gotta read the labels. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one, you guys.